For centuries, humanity had this one huge problem. How do you actually measure time accurately? Right? How do you get a perfectly steady beat to chop up the day? Well, the answer, it turns out, was hiding in plain sight. It's all in the simple, really elegant swing of a suspended weight. Today, we are going to crack the code of the pendulum.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the whole search for perfect time. Then we'll get into the anatomy of a pendulum itself. After that, we'll unlock the pendulum's secret code, the physics behind it. We'll also figure out what actually matters and what doesn't, check out its journey from clocks to measuring gravity, and finally, we'll see what happens beyond the simple model.
Way before we had quartz crystals and atomic clocks, the world was desperate for a reliable metronome. You know, something that could just tick, talk consistently. For science, for navigation, even just for daily life, the hunt was totally on for something that could give us a steady, repeatable beat.
Just think about it for a second. Your options were kinda limited. Water clocks, they freeze or evaporate. Sundials, they're great until the sun goes down. So what simple, physical thing is so incredibly predictable, so constant that you could literally build an entire society's schedule around it? And the answer, believe it or not, came from just watching something as simple as a chandelier swinging back and forth in a cathedral. Yep, the hero of our story is the pendulum. It's a device where all the genius is packed right into its simplicity.
So in physics, we have this little trick. We like to start with a perfect, idealized version of something to really get the core ideas down. And the simple pendulum is exactly that. Picture this, a tiny point of mass, we call it the bob, hanging from a string that has no mass and doesn't stretch at all. And it's swinging in a world with zero air resistance. It's basically the perfect, clean laboratory for understanding how this whole thing works.
Okay, so what actually makes it swing? Well, it's this really cool dance between a couple of forces. You've got gravity, which is always pulling the bob straight down. Then there's tension from the string pulling it back up. But the real magic, the secret sauce, is the restoring force. It's a part of gravity that is always, and I mean always, trying to pull that bob back to the middle. That's what forces it to swing back and forth, to oscillate. And that reliable back and forth motion? It is not random at all. It actually follows a very precise mathematical rule. You could call it a secret code. And once we cracked that code, oh boy, it changed everything. This special type of movement has a name, simple harmonic motion, or SHM for short. And the key idea is really simple. The farther you pull the pendulum away from the center, the harder that restoring force pulls it back. It's that direct relationship that creates this beautiful, consistent, and super predictable swing. And here it is. This is the secret code we've been talking about. This super simple formula tells us the period, which is just the time it takes for one complete swing back and forth. And look what it depends on. Just L, the length of the string, and G, the acceleration due to gravity. That's it. That is the entire recipe. This leads to this absolutely huge discovery by Galileo. He figured out that for small swings, it doesn't matter if the swing is wide or if it's narrow, the time it takes to go back and forth stays the same. That property has a fancy name, isochronism, and it is the exact reason the pendulum is such an amazing timekeeper.
Okay, but there's one really important rule for our secret code to work perfectly. The physics behind it all depends on something we call the small angle approximation. Basically, as long as the angle of the swing is small, we're talking less than 15 degrees or so, the motion is almost perfect simple harmonic motion. And our formula, it's incredibly accurate.
So, what is this formula really telling us? Well, it reveals something fascinating and honestly kind of counterintuitive about what actually controls a pendulum's rhythm.
All right, check out these 4 pendulums on the screen. You can see they've got different lengths and different masses. Just going by your gut feeling, which one do you think would swing the fastest, have the shortest period, and which one would be the slowest? Go ahead and pause for a second, make a guess.
Okay, you got your guess? The big reveal is, the only 2 things that matter are the length of the string and the strength of gravity. That's it. A shorter string gives you a shorter, faster swing. A longer string gives you a longer, slower one. But did you notice what's not on that list? The mass of the bob and how wide it swings? They don't change the period at all. A really heavy bob swings at the exact same rate as a super light one. Wild, right?
Let's put that idea to the test with a thought experiment. Imagine you haul a big grandfather clock all the way to the moon. Now, gravity on the moon is way weaker, about 1/6 of what it is here. So if you look back at our formula, what do you think that weaker gravity does to the pendulum's swing? Yep, the clock would run insanely slow, because with a smaller g value, the period, t, for each swing gets much, much longer.
You know, this simple device didn't just end up giving us better clocks, it actually gave us a brand new tool to understand our own planet. And you can really see the journey of this idea right here. It all starts with Galileo just watching a swinging lamp. Then, a guy named Christian Huygens takes that idea and uses it to build the world's most accurate clocks. I mean, these things were the best for almost 300 years. And what's crazy is that even today, we're still using that same basic principle to get super precise measurements of Earth's gravity.
So how does that even work? Well, it's pretty clever. If you know the exact length of a pendulum and you can time its swing super accurately, you can just flip our formula around to solve for g. Scientists use these incredibly precise pendulums to find tiny little differences in Earth's gravitational field from one place to another. That kind of information is super useful for things like geology and mapping.
Okay, so up to this point, we've been hanging out in this perfect little physics world with massless strings and tiny bobs. But what about the real world? What about actual physical objects that swing?
Well, that brings us to what we call the physical pendulum. And this is basically any real, solid object that can swing from a pivot point. So think of a baseball bat, or your own leg swinging, or the arm on a metronome. We're not talking about a simple point of mass anymore.
And for a physical pendulum, that secret code formula gets a little more complicated. The time of the swing doesn't just depend on the simple length anymore. Now the object's shape and how its mass is spread out really matter. Just think about it. A baseball bat swung from its handle is going to swing very differently than one swung from its middle. The shape and the balance of the object become totally crucial.
All right, so let's wrap this all up. What are the big takeaways? First, a pendulum swing is just a beautiful textbook example of simple harmonic motion. Second, for a simple pendulum, its timing is all about its length and gravity. Mass has nothing to do with it. And finally, this incredibly simple idea didn't just revolutionize how we keep time, it also gave us a tool to measure the very planet we live on. I'm going to leave you with one final thing to chew on. There's a special kind of pendulum called a seconds pendulum. Its period is exactly 2 seconds. So 1 second to swing out and 1 second to swing back. Now, using everything we've just talked about, what does that tell you about how long its string has to be right here on Earth? That's a fun little puzzle, and the answer is surprisingly